Welcome to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. It's time for the human touch.
Hi, everyone. We're recording. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm your host, Lee Brecheen. We got a great show today. It's a human interest story today that touches my heart. And I have a guest who's a father of a football player from New Iberia, Louisiana, Westgate High School. And I want to introduce this gentleman today. We're going to talk about his son, but Kawoski Johnson, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, sir.
You know, I met you last year. I'll say last year, this past football season.
Yes, sir.
And I'm at the game, and I love to be on the sidelines. I like to hear the game, and, a lot of people like to stay in the stands. And I'm walking around the sideline, and Westgate's playing Denham Springs. Y'all were at Denham Springs. I came to the game. I was on the Westgate sideline at the time, and I was trying to see who's this big kid on the O-line, and, man, he's good. And who's this number 71? And so somebody said, we know his dad. We're going to go get him in the stands. So they went and got you. And you told me, you said, what do you need, man? I'd love to help you. I said, your son can play ball. And the first thing you told me, you said, I bet there's something you don't know. I said, what do you mean? Remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you told me that my son is autistic. And I said, there's no way. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
6'4", 283 pounds, Ashton Francois or Ashton Francis.
Yes, sir. It's Francis.
Kawoski, man, you got a great kid, and I'm gonna tell you, tell a story on how long he's been playing athletics and how he's overcome so much.
Oh yeah, well, he was diagnosed when he was 3-4 years old, and he was in Head Start, and he was doing some things, and the teacher, couldn't understand, like, why does he keep doing this and why does he keep doing that? And I remember she said, well, maybe we should have him tested. And he was doing all the little autistic traits, sticking things in his pocket. He secluded himself. He had to line certain things up. And so the school had him tested, and he was diagnosed autistic. And me as a father with sons, and, you want your sons to be ball players or these,
right,
as a father who plays sports. So, and when we had him tested, they came back. So, me didn't want to accept the fact that something was wrong with my son. We had him tested through 2 other doctors. Mm-hmm. And all the tests were conclusive. I didn't tell this doctor what it was. So, this doctor can't pick it back off of this doctor.
Right.
So, everything came back conclusive. So, as he was getting older, I was seeing, like, what my son wants to do. And I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, so sitting in front of the television, watching him, watch TV, and he'll push the football around. And, I mean, this kid at 5-6 years old, you couldn't even understand what he was saying. He wasn't talking fluently. He'll run, just fall for no reason. Coordination was off. And, like me and my wife, we there's many a night that we cried, and I'm like, what he's going to do. And when he became like 6 or 7, I coached a Pee Wee football team, and we would travel, and he wanted to play. And at first, my wife was like, "Nah, I don't want my son out there and this and that." And I was like, "You know what? Let him give it a try." And it was a lot of growing pains, and he started developing, the concept of at least knowing at least what to do. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of growing pains in Pee Wee football. He would come home crying because he wouldn't get in the game. He'll miss a block or two because he really didn't know what to do at that age. And as he started getting older, he started developing himself. And I want to say it was in the 7th grade was the hardest for him because he loved football, but he lost interest because when he got to the 7th grade, I always tell the coaches, that he's autistic, not to look at his disability.
Right.
But maybe if you tell him to block a certain gap, you might want to show him instead of just telling him. Because those type of kids, the exceptionality, I can be telling you something and it's not registering. I would have to show you. what I'm talking about. Because I like growing up, I'll say, Ashton, go get my toothbrush, and he'll come back with some lotion.
Right.
And I would have to physically say, do like I'm brushing my teeth, and then he'll grasp the concept. So that went on for a while. And when he got to the 7th grade, he was like, I have watched my son play ball against a lot of kids. And when I told the coach this, he would put him in the game for a couple of plays, I guess, to, please him for a little while. And then he'll be back on the sideline. And at practice, I'm watching him go against some of the best kids. So he developed this, I don't want to do it no more. But like I tell him, you can't give up. I always use the motto, DW40 is water displacement number 40. That means he tried it 39 times before he got it right. So I always tell him that just keep on trying. And the end of his 7th grade year, he wanted to run track and field. Well, in athletic PE, he stood up to say he wanted to run track and field, and one of the assistant coaches told him, sit down, that he had to do Special Olympics. So kids made fun of him, and, that was his down year. 8th grade year, he didn't even want to play football. And it wasn't until his 8th grade year, we was doing an Our Kids Matter event, and I met Coach Ryan.
Okay.
So I asked Coach Ryan, do he mind if my son comes work out with the football team? And he told me, he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. His 8th grade year, he was working out with Westgate. And the 9th grade year, he went to Westgate as a freshman. He played 2 games, I want to say, freshman year on a freshman team. They moved him up to JV, and he played JV, and then they moved him up to varsity.
Wow.
His freshman year. And, I mean, himself, not being able to have coordination skills at an early age, didn't start talking fluently till he was 7 or 8. And like I said, man, it's been a lot of nights as a father, just crying and been like, why my child? And, I always say it could be worse. So here comes his sophomore year. And I mean, this kid, he's just sensational. As when he put his mind to it, I want to play at the next level, whatever we can do. And I told him, look, I give you all the utensils for you to eat. Just keep up the work ethic. And I mean, this kid just exemplifies what hard work is. His 10th grade year, he came in. I remember the end of his freshman year, Coach Antoine, he would always play like guard and tackle. Coach Antoine came up to him and said, what about playing center? And he was like, whatever you need, coach. And the end of his freshman year, we were walking through the parking lot, and coach threw a ball to him. And Ryan Antoine said, he said, I want you to snap it 100 times this summer. That child literally got outside and snapped that ball 100 times.
Wow.
The whole summer. He would burn up my hands sometimes. And I was like, my playing days is over. So, and he would just snap the ball. The season started, he started at center. That year when the season was over, he made all-state and first-team all-district. And this following past year, they moved him to tackle. We needed a tackle. He made second-team all-district, so he didn't play it all over the line. And I tell a lot of people, no matter what the doctor says, whatever they tell your kid, if your kid has a disability and you want to try to be a rocket scientist, do not limit, because you never know where you have a diamond in the rough.
I want to mention,
and it's just been amazing.
Go
ahead.
I want to mention this. We've got Kawoski Johnson on. His son is Ashton Francis from Westgate. He's a junior. He's a 222 recruit. He's got another year left. He's a junior, but he gives a lot of people hope, because a lot of families are in your position, and this gives a lot of hope for kids to come out by sharing this story today. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, because he's a role model for a lot of kids, your son.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like I said, he's not only a role model for a lot of kids, but it's role model for a lot of parents. Because as parents, when he first started and they was telling me this, I kind of scaled him back from a lot of things and shielded him back, because I was like, oh, I don't want my child to get clowned. I don't want my child to get teased.
Right.
And a lot of parents with a child with disabilities, they have that fear. And sometimes that fear can get in the way of us holding them back from the things they really want to do or be in life.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I saw him dominating against Denham Springs. He was taking people on the ground. He was pancaking linemen, and you were happy. You were a happy dad that night. And,
yes, sir.
And I had to, me and you had to take a break because they were about to score, and you had to get back to I call it your quarterback seat, right? You had to get back over there. And as far as the Cowboys, we had George Teague on last week. Kawoski, remember George Teague with the Cowboys, DB?
Yes.
MVP of the 1993 Sugar Bowl for Alabama. He came on our show from Plano, Texas last week. So
wow.
But
ain't that like coincidence?
And that's something. And we got you on today, and then I want to say this: South Louisiana, it's the Saints, but Shreveport, it's the Cowboys mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Shreveport.
It's split in half, and I hear down here about my Cowboys all the time.
Look, I got an uncle, my Uncle Leo. He's been a Cowboy fan since he was born, and my stepdad's from Muskogee, Oklahoma, so he loves the Cowboys. I was a Steelers fan growing up. You can't be both if you're a Steelers fan.
Exactly.
We're going to take a break, and Kawoski, don't go anywhere. When we come back, I want you to brag on the Westgate team. I'm going to throw out some other players that are coming back. It's a special team next year that Ashton's going to be a part of, and you know that. There's a lot of talent coming back. For Coach Anton. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. Welcome back. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm Lee Brecheen, your host. Our guest today is Kawoski Johnson, whose son is Ashton Francis, who's a junior, 6'4", 283 pounds, going to be class of 222. He is a recruit, and he's overcome a lot, and we're talking about his story. It's a remarkable story. And Kawoski, let's talk about this team at Westgate. They went to the playoffs this year, came up short, but they went a long way. And next year, let me throw my 2 cents out. I've been watching Westgate since the school opened. I think this is going to be the best team in the history of the school next year. What do you think?
Oh man, this team is we can win the championship next year.
I believe it. I believe it.
We can win the championship next year. And this kid, I mean, these kids, they play for each other. The coaching staff, it's just amazing.
The talent. I'm gonna throw right off these names. You know all these kids. Danny Lewis, that's family to you, tight end receiver, 6'5", 230 pounds of muscle, can run a 4.5. I think he's one of the top 10 players in the state. He's going to be a senior next year. And tell everybody, that's family to you, Danny Lewis. Remember that name.
Oh, yeah, Danny Lewis, his dad and I are actually first cousins. Ashton's grandfather and Danny's grandfather are brothers. I mean, I watched this kid from Pee Wee football. He was actually, a lot of the kids on the Westgate team, we actually coached for Pee Wee football. So I'm familiar with a lot of these kids, but Danny, I mean, he's the jack of all trades. He reminds us of Kayshon Boutte when we had him. Danny can do it all. Defensive end, tight end, quarterback. I mean, he gets down there in the trenches. If you put him at tight end, he'll block the kid straight out the plate. Remarkable kid.
Kawoski, I think Danny's a national recruit. I think he could go anywhere. I really do. And then you got Jordan Doucette, who's a national recruit. Jordan Doucette can fly, can he?
Oh, yes. In the slot, I don't think nobody can match up with him one-on-one.
And then
he will lead you.
He's a 4.4, legitimate, real 4.4 guy. And then you got Jamarte Levine, who's a great speedster at corner, can play running back. That's one of our shutdown corners. He's a tough. He reminds me of like a little Tyrann Mathieu. He's all over you. And then then you got the stocky running back and Stephen Antoine, who can really muscle for some yards. He can run 5'8", 200 pounds.
Yeah, Steve Antoine remind me of Jerome Bettis.
Power.
You get in between the tackles, you gotta get 3 guys on him at least because he will break through tackles and he's gone.
And all these guys are 222 guys for next year. Kawan Joseph is another great corner. I think he's a college prospect.
Yes, very good.
Quarterback Brennan Landry, he's threw up for stupid numbers last year. Brennan's a good quarterback. He could go college.
Oh, yes.
Bradley Lewis Let's talk about Bradley Lewis. This is a guy that not a lot of people talk about, Kawoski, but he's 6'2", 230, 240, can run like a 4.7 as a DN. He's a diamond in the rough. Don't you agree, Bradley Lewis?
Oh, yes. And Bradley Lewis, I think our nickname for him is Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yeah, we call him Hawaii. Man, that kid, he has remarkable strength. He comes down the line and he will light something up. He is, darn good.
How do you get that nickname? How do you get the nickname Hawaii?
I think it started, I think them kids gave him that because his complexion and that hair. And I think his family has some type of tie.
Okay.
I think his mom is Hawaiian. If don't quote me on it. I think his family has some type of tie to Hawaii.
And I got 3 more guys to mention, I think, that are under the radar. They could go play somewhere next year, and they're all 222 guys. Zion Madison, linebacker, he's tough, man.
Oh, man. His brother, Ron Madison,
yep.
he actually was a top player at Westgate. And, his not only the little brother followed in his footsteps, no disrespect to Ron, but looked like the brother surpassed him on a high school level a little bit because, man, Ron, I've been watching this kid since Pee Wee, and you could tell that you was going to watch him on Saturday night.
Man, he's good. He's tough.
Kid is really strong.
5'9", about 205, plays like he's 250. And then, And then there's Henry Binion at running back. He's a tough guy. That's another powerful running back, Henry.
And that's another one that will come through the hole and do something.
Our last guy, this guy's not big, but he can fly and he'll knock your head off, is Demarion Davis.
Demarion Davis is the names. They have all these nicknames for these kids.
DJ, isn't it? DJ? DJ Davis?
DJ Davis. Running back,
corner.
Yeah, I remember him as corner. I think I remember him as a corner.
Yeah.
That kid, he's really good. He's really good. Like I said, these kids, they have a lot of nicknames.
Oh, I know. Everybody, and I always ask them too, Kawoski, when I interview him on the phone, I said, do you have a nickname? And sure enough, about 2 out of 3 will tell me they got a nickname.
Exactly.
Look, we're going to take a quick break, come right back. They had a guy sign with LSU today, Brian Thomas from Walker. We're going to talk about it. I want to share it with Kawoski. We're going to talk more about Ashton Francis, his son, who's a junior, 6'4", 283-pound offensive tackle, can play guard, tackle, or center. We'll be right back. Looking for a used car? Harvey Autos has 3 dealerships, which means 3 times the used vehicles. They've got everything from fuel-efficient compacts to luxury models, even hybrids, and certified pre-owned with a warranty. Check out John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, or Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City. Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm your host, Lee Brecheen. Our guest and topic today, our human interest story, is Kawoski Johnson, his son, Ashton Francis, at Westgate High School. If you don't know where Westgate High School is, it's in New Iberia. Isn't that right, Kawoski? New Iberia. And look, because people that get the show, they get it from all over the state. And is there a better city with more talent than New Iberia? With New Iberia niche, with the private school there, with the Catholic school, New Iberia, and then you got Westgate, and then you got Highland Baptist. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I mean,
yes, indeed.
The talent there is incredible, isn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. I always said if we had one high school, I think we'll win state every year.
I agree. I agree, man. And, when I think of New Iberia, I think of Johnny Hector. I think of Leroy Etienne, who went to Nebraska. Yep. Mark Roman. Corey Raymond, LSU.
Yep.
Verge Osbury. And then we got Kayshon Boutte's at next star, huh? What do you think of Kayshon? He had a phenomenal year at LSU this year.
Oh, yes, sir. And, me and his dad are real good friends.
Okay.
Me and his dad are real good friends. Talked to his dad, matter of fact, yesterday. And that kid, I remember a story. He did, I want to say he was 6 or 7. No, he was in the 6th or 7th grade. And they have a video that he went to a track meet at LSU. And his mom took a picture. And that kid said, I will be here one day.
Huh.
And he spoke it into existence. This kid could fly. When they came from a little town, Generette. That's where his dad's from.
Okay.
And he came to the Pee Wee football team. Hardly nobody knew who this kid was. But when he touched the ball, that was a household name since Pee Wee football.
He's got those jets, doesn't he?
Oh, yes. Everybody wanted Kayshon Boutte on their team.
You know who he reminds me of? And I'm going to go back in the way back, Kawoski, way back. Rocket Ismail, but bigger.
Rocket, yeah.
You remember Rocket Ismail with the Notre Dame?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Remember, but he was only like 5'9", but, Kayshon's 6 foot, and he's, 195. He's almost 200 pounds running, 4.39, 4.3?
Yes. And that kid, he was on our world class. They broke all kind of records at Westgate his last year, his senior year, and they made it all the way to the Nationals and broke a record in New York.
That's incredible. What about that Ole Miss game he had, Kawoski, for LSU? He broke the record for the most yards in a game in the SEC, man, not just LSU, the SEC.
SEC, and it's crazy. His dad, Embry Boutte, his dad actually said before that game, we talked, and he said he's going to have a breakout game. This is going to be his breakout game.
He could feel
it.
And
once again, he spoke it into existence. And when I kept watching the phone, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Well, today, and it's getting scary now, LSU's going to be really good at receiver. They signed today Brian Thomas from Walker High School. Kawoski, I got him as the 4th best player in the state for 221, 6'4", 190, 4'4", 40-inch vertical jump, and hands, and tough.
Oh, my God.
So now you got Boutte on one side.
Right.
You got Jack Besh in the middle, right? Jack Besh from St. Thomas More. And now you got...
And I forgot Jack. Jack signed also.
Right.
I forgot about Jack Besh.
And then you got Brian Thomas on the outside at 6'4". He looks like Julio Jones.
Exactly. And like I always say, when you have that much talent, you better pick your poison.
Right. Right. So they'll be back. They had a bad year, but they lost a lot of players, but they'll be back. The Alabama game will be the game of the year, I think, this coming season.
Oh, yeah.
Any final thoughts about this coming season? I mean, y'all preparing for next year. Ashton's going one more year left, and I know you're a dad. You've coached the little guys, like you said. You've been around football your whole life. What do you think of this coming season in district? What do you think? What are the tough teams to you that's going to be on the schedule this coming year?
The tough teams that sticks out to me is always going to be that STM. I mean, every year it seems like they look like they always have somebody in the stable waiting. But this Westgate team, if they play like they played the other years, but just a step better, they're championship bound. These guys, this class that's going to be graduating next year, they have always played together a long time. And if they string everything together, and like last year, COVID messed a lot of things up. We couldn't practice together, and everything was just kind of thrown on us. And this year, it's going to be way different. These guys stay healthy. It's a great group of kids. This upcoming senior class is going to be remarkable. And like I said, the coaching staff, we have a great group of guys that just, every year they learned off of something else. And I think this will be the year that we take it all the way.
All right, I got another question for you. We're going to take a break. We got one more segment left. I'm going to ask you about your Cowboys when we come back.
Okay.
And also when we come back, can the Cowboys turn it around and Jerry Jones? Can Dak Prescott get him to the Super Bowl? And I'm also going to ask him about how good he thought Josh Boutte was at Westgate. Josh Boutte worked for us in college. So,
okay.
Yeah, Josh Boutte. We'll be right back. We've got Kawoski Johnson on, the father of Ashton Francis, who's a junior offensive lineman at Westgate High School in New Iberia, Louisiana, one of my great cities of best food in the state. We'll be right back. So, hey, guys, just wanted to take a minute to tell you about Harvey Autos. If you need a new or used car, there's 3 great dealerships right here worth checking out. John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, and Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City. Low prices, honest people. Tell them Lee sent you. Welcome back. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. Kawoski, I want to ask you about your Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'm not a Dallas guy. I'm a Steelers guy and a Saints guy. But Dallas had a horrible season. And it seems like 30 years since they went to a Super Bowl, right? With Aikman and Emmett and Irvin.
Yep.
Daryl Johnson, and then I go back to Ed Too Tall Jones and Harvey Martin and Randy White. Drew Pearson's getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm glad that's happening. But how can Dallas turn this around, Kawoski? How can they get back?
I think we can turn it around if Jerry stay in the press box and leave everybody alone.
Stay out of it, you mean?
Jerry, just stay out of everything and just leave it. But, I mean, I love Jerry Jones. A lot of people don't like him, and they want Jerry. They always saying, oh, get a GM, this and that. But my thing is the GM still has to answer to Jerry.
Yeah.
So, but I love my Cowboys, but they have to stay healthy. We took a big hit on that offensive line, and then a big problem losing that guy, the man, Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And then the defense, I can't say enough about my defense this year. That's an unforgettable year. That defense was horrible.
Horrible, yeah.
Horrible.
They need to draft the whole defense, huh? I mean, D-line to DB.
Oh, all the way across the board on defense.
They don't need receivers.
Mm-hmm. They got the linebackers coach from New Orleans last year. They shipped him out of there first thing smoking. So that was a big plus.
And then I want to ask you about this. Do you think Elliott's the answer at running back? I don't think Elliott's had a great year.
No, I don't. I think they was all calling for the backup, but I don't think he's not an every down back. Elliott, I think with a quarterback that can move the ball efficiently, then I think he'll be all right. But he had a horrible year. Got to keep
your quarterback healthy, and then losing La'el Collins to an injury, Travis Frederick. They lost the big tackle from USC went down. They lost 4 of the starting linemen by week 8.
Four started. We at the end of the year we had like 17 or 18 different starting linemen, like to start different positions.
Wow,
moving people around.
Unbelievable. Yeah, you can't go sign a quarterback from the Bengals that wasn't very good and expect to win any games, right?
Exactly.
So
won't happen.
They need to get a better backup too if Dak gets hurt in the future.
Because I had trust in the Red Rifle, but he lost my trust down the line somewhere.
Kawoski, I had fun having you on, and look, your son Ashton is an inspiration to me. And everybody that's going to hear this show, like you said, every mom and dad, every coach, every principal, every kid, and you got to be proud of your son.
Oh, I'm remarkable, and I always tell him he would some days from his days in Pee Wee and middle school. They call me I'm the crazy fan because I weigh 280 pounds, but you would see the shirt come off, and you'll see a big fat man running from side to side, just screaming, waving a flag. And like I tell him, a lot of times my son was on the sideline, and his dad was still there cheering. And now the shirt really comes off. And I mean, this kid, I can't say enough about this kid. His drive, his determination. I mean, I'll get up. Kid might be playing a game. Some kids might be playing a game on a Sunday morning, but he'll be in that shed trying to do something to better himself in all aspects. And I mean, he's just a real blessing. I mean, he's a real inspiration. And I always tell him I'm peacock proud of him.
There you go. I tell you what, I would not be shocked too if LSU comes after Danny Lewis and Jordan Doucette next year.
Oh yeah,
both of those guys, and then even Bradley Lewis, depending on how good of a year Bradley has for them. But they're definitely all going to sign. All these kids we mentioned today will sign with colleges, and I think your son's going to have that opportunity as well. We'll be talking about him, man. We'll be writing a book about your son one day, probably.
Oh yeah, I told him it's a documentary. I never would have thought, but just seeing the young man he's developed into, I told him that can be a documentary. And I told him whatever you need, whatever we can do, we're going to get him playing at the next level.
Well, Kawoski, don't hang up. I'm going to end the show, but don't hang up because I've got to get your email so I can get you the show when we play it Wednesday. But don't hang up. I want everybody to go to lafootballmagazine.com. We have stories up from different high schools Jace Lejeune has written, and also our intern, Trent Shafter, who's from California. He's a swimmer at LSU, actually, and he's interning with us, writing articles. And, one day, this coming season, for this new class, we'll be having Ashton up there with his teammates writing an article when this coming season starts up. We're still talking about the 221 class on the internet, and we'll start writing about 222 kids. We'll see you Friday. This show will play on Wednesday. We'll see you Friday.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.